Hi there guys, Dan Holton from GuitarLessonCentral.com here, and I'm going to carry on answering some questions. And let me just start by reading out this email from Paul W. in Batchworth, which I think is in the UK actually. So he says, I have been playing about 3 years now and have always played blues and rock, which is great. I have learned all my pentatonic shapes and enjoy playing around with them in a local band that I play with. I'm finding more and more that my lead playing is just going round in circles, and I'm basically finding myself playing the same old pentatonic licks over again. The main problem is I don't know how to expand on these scales or licks. Should I be looking into modal scales or something? I have read endless magazines about these, but just cannot get them sounding right at all within the context of our band and my music taste. Please help. From Paul. Okay, cool, excellent. All right, so you got your pentatonic shapes down and you sound a bit bland, right? So do you know what? This happens a lot, and I've got a lot of students. Let me just grab my plectrum, who kind of come in and say the same kind of thing, and that's cool. There are really kind of nice, simple ways, and I'm going to show you one idea today for kind of expanding on that. Now, first of all, with regards to the modal ideas, I don't think that's the next step up. So I think if you've got your pentatonic shapes, your next step up really is expanding simply by adding 2 extra notes to those pentatonic shapes to just create your major and your minor scales. Now, I want you to remember that if you're a pentatonic man and then you add notes to that pentatonic to create the major or minor scale, you're not going to play like a classical musician who's learned a major or minor scale. You're going to play more like a kind of Jimmy Page who plays predominantly pentatonics, but uses those extra notes to add a bit of style, a bit of flair, a bit of darkness sometimes to kind of what he's playing. So that's what I'm going to try and show you now, okay? I'm going to show you the theory so you can do it for yourself about what's kind of happening, okay? So that's how I would progress it, okay? Rather than modes, and then if you get that idea, which we're going to talk about now, actually then modes would be the next step after that, okay? So you've got 5 pentatonic shapes, and let's take the key of A minor, because everyone loves A minor, right? Shape 1. Now, in the key of A minor, okay, what you've got is, we're using a pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale, okay? And we're using A, C, D, E, G, and then back to A again. Now, that's a 5-note scale. Now, a minor scale, a full minor scale, is a 7-note scale. And the great thing about it is the minor pentatonic has taken 5 notes from the minor scale. So all we got to do is find out what those 2 notes that are missing and add them in. So we don't need to learn crazy new shapes, we just add to the ones we've already got, making it very easy to apply to your music and your band straight away. Okay, so what we're going to do is add these notes. Okay, so where we start here, this is the first note of the A minor scale. We actually jump straight to the 3rd. We miss the 2nd note. That's your 2nd note. Okay, so in A minor you're adding a B. A, B, C. So the first thing I want you to do is just think about that. So we're jumping a tone and a half at the moment, and you'll never see that in any kind of major, minor or modal scale. Okay, a tone and a half is too much for a basic modal scale from the major scale. I don't want to confuse you. So we add the tone. Okay, so we got the B in there now. Okay, so suddenly our first 3 notes sound like this. Immediately darker, right? Immediately a little darker. The 4th note is the same. The 5th note is the same. But we've missed the 6th, so we're now going to add that in a semitone above. So I'm actually with my little finger now on the 8th fret. Okay, so my first 6 notes now, okay, which is already more than would have been in the pentatonic, are like this. And then we finish it off. So we've got the 7th note, which is the G, and then the A. So where I would have had my minor pentatonic, here's A minor. Gives it a certain kind of rhythmical, bluesy, rocky, whatever you want to call it. Then with the A minor, gives it a slightly darker edge. Okay, so there we go. That's 1 octave. right? Okay. Now you should be able to sit there then and work out the rest, okay? In the key of A minor, I've given you the notes. We had a B and we had an F, okay? Or in kind of a musical context, in a kind of numbers context, we had the second and the sixth to the minor pentatonic, okay? And that will give us a new scale without doing very much at all. And you can go through the rest of the scale. So as you kind of carry on down this pentatonic shape, after that root note here, we'd normally go to that third again. So drop back a semitone, we can add in the second. There's the sixth again, there's the F, there's the B, and then back to the C. So just go through that shape one and add the B and an F everywhere through it. I want you to do it for yourself. I want you to think about it. And I will put together a quick little sheet for you just in case you just really can't. And I'll show you the kind of 5 shapes with those extra notes in them, okay? So hopefully that will help. And do you know what? That's great, because what that's going to do is going to enable you to straight away, if you're soloing in your A minor, and if I was to think of a typical blues rock lick, I would do something like this. Right? Then, do something simple like this. And that's the B. And suddenly, whoa, we're not in pentatonic anymore. Okay? So simple things like that. And the great thing is, just to finish off this little video, is that if you've learned everything in A minor, you've also learned everything in C major, because the A and the C are relative minor and major keys. So, that's kind of like a modal thing in itself. But, if I played that whole thing again, the whole of my A minor scale, starting from C, that's a C major scale. So that might be something, if that's just sat there, if I've just sat there and blown your mind, okay, just start by learning those shapes, okay? And we can talk about that at a later date and kind of go through that concept of relative major and minor keys. But just learn the shapes and apply it to what you're already playing, and I hope that will kind of set you on your way.